What's going on, Valentine? How we doing? We are just about ready to go here for Division 1. I haven't got the... I'm just pinging this. The little GG thing doesn't quite work. What GG thing? What is that? What does that mean? GG thing. I don't know. I don't know what that is, unfortunately. Oh, shit. My computer volume's up. That probably sounded slightly awkward. um... Sub emote. Dude, honestly, I have no idea about anything on Twitch. I'm literally just streaming on here. I honestly, the amount of hassle it was to even potentially apply for monetization was like I was entering tax information. Like, bro, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of all set with that. to be quite honest. It was honestly just a whole bunch of nonsense. And even then, I didn't even really. I don't make anything off of this naturally. I'm good, bro. Um, let's get this pinged in Monkey Mafia as well. Had a great crowd last night for the. For God's sakes, this game does not want me to join a session ever. Appreciate that, Valentine. Looking forward to watching. Yeah, should be a great one here tonight. Really excited for this. Hoping honestly that we do more of these no line races in the future. Having so much fun with that sort of thing. I don't know why my... Does the stream look laggy at all? Because right now, just... It's acting really, really slow. Kind of everything, actually. Nope, no lag. Okay, well... Guess we'll get our sound cuts right. Okay, that's good news. Gotta hit the Aussie before we get going here. You already know. It's a good thing I could play this music and not really get cunted on Twitch realistically. I haven't yet, anyway. Probably will, but... Hopefully this works now. How's everybody doing tonight? Should be a good one, this. Of course, Monza, one of the best circuits in the world, and then as well having no line for this evening should be just such a phenomenal race. I think we should have a full lobby for this one. Expecting, who do we have checked in? Cali Rob is the only driver to have checked out for this evening. Both Alpines, both Astons, both Ferraris, both Haas, both Sauber, both McLaren, both Mercedes, both Red Bull, one Williams, one V-Carb. So we are at 18. 18 confirmed. One confirmed out, and then one just nothing for the time being. That's alright, though. Brian Wasser, thank you for the backup invite. Appreciate that. Still about 5 minutes to go. Still waiting for quite a few guys to be joining.
Make no difference what you say. I don't save me. The only god I need is the ace of spades. The ace of spades.
How's everybody doing tonight? 3 of you that are currently in attendance. Thank you all for joining. I should probably edit the, what do you call this really quick?
Watching you. The ace of spades. The ace of spades.
I want to get a proper, like, Elgato capture card or whatnot, probably later in the year. That way I can stream to, like, TikTok and maybe, like, Facebook and whatnot. Get a couple of different avenues of streaming going, as well as Twitch. Still waiting for a couple of more here. Still a little bit of time left before we get going. Believe we have at least 18 confirmed makes. 15 in the lobby, so it may take a little bit. I think race day being one of those that we haven't quite got in yet. But he'll be here. Should be a fun one, this. Monza with no racing line on. We get some more of that in the broadcast when we do, but yeah, I think we could be on for a potential generational race here, that's for sure. I have really come to love these D1 races with no racing line. I think we had it at Spa recently. Where else did we have no racing line this season? Any race that I remember that we've had with no racing line, they've just been such phenomenal. Bahrain. I don't think I was here for Bahrain, unfortunately. Australia I was here for. That was a good race. Spa I was here for. That was a fantastic race. It wasn't there for Japan last week. I don't know if doesn't appear that anything's been updated following that. Potentially stewards reports. Not entirely sure. I'm gonna run to the restroom really quick before we get going. Last minute you already know. Them guys ain't dumb. Welcome into the stream, Damon. Appreciate you joining us. Should be a fun one tonight. Division 1 with no line here at Monza. Don't mind what this guy thinks of the gentleman with the earring and the makeup. Here to watch Brian. I tell you what, Brian is definitely, he's got some pace. If he can, and anything can happen. You know what I mean? Especially, this is a track that definitely has weather from time to time, as well as not having racing line on it. I tell you what, those who take the risks will be rewarded tonight, as always. So should be a fun one. These guys, this is the 16th season of the Midwest F1 League. We had our 5-year anniversary stream not too long ago. That was a really fun time. And time again, these are just some of the best sim racers that you will ever see, realistically, at least in my opinion. This is one of the most competitive grids. Should be a really fun one tonight. I think we're still waiting for 1 or 2 more before we get rolling here. Hopefully we're going to get ready to go anyway. 18 confirmed check-ins. I think just the one that we thought was going to be missing it. I don't quite know. Oh, that ain't working. That's the way you do it. Money for nothing, and your chicks for free.
We got to install a microwave oven, custom kitchen delivery.
Taking a look at the schedule towards the back half of the season. This is round 10 out of 15. Coming up next, we do have the reverse edition of Zandvoort, which should be fantastic. I think that's gonna be a fun race. I'm not sure how the track realistically is gonna work. Track being taken off the schedule after 2026, at least in real life. And of course, we're racing here. But this will be in the reverse direction of the circuit. That actually might be quite fun. I think that first corner is going to do quite a lot of overtakes. It's going to be like NASCAR into that first turn. It's going to be quite wild, actually. Qatar, September the 4th. September the 11th, we head to Saudi Arabia for also what's going to be a race with no racing line, which I think is going to be quite hectic, realistically. Saudi Arabia, one of those tracks that, if ever to feel a comfort with the racing line on, even more so Saudi Arabia. And then Austria in the reverse direction, that's going to be fun. And then running things out in Sao Paulo, Brazil, that's September 25th. That should be a fantastic turn of events there. We are looking at such a fun back half of the season. Here we go, 25 seconds to go. Oh, there we go. And welcome in, everybody, to the 10th round of this 16th Division 1 season here at the Autodromo Internazionale Monza for what should be just such a phenomenal race that we've got going for you here in Division 1. Hotspot on the call with you once again. No line once again here in Division 1. This should be potentially a shit show, potentially a good race in general. We're going to have to wait and find out. Fortune favors the bold. That is what they say. And you do have to be bold to find success in this circuit. It's a track that rewards the late breakers, rewards those that are able to take the risks and able to make things happen. And we're definitely going to be seeing quite a lot of that today. What do we have? 17 cars in the grid. Should be 18, I think, potentially. Maybe one more getting in. But the last time I was in a Division 1 lobby was for the 5th anniversary Grand Prix from the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, which was a fantastic race. Not much of an idea what happened last time out in Japan, but what I can tell you is this. We got a little bit of rain going here. Intermediate tire conditions is what it appears to be here. Nothing more, probably nothing less either. The track, I would go ahead and assume, is going to be slightly greasy for the time being. Should there be any additional weather in the area, I'm sure one of our drivers will ping me to let y'all know. But once again, here tonight at Monza, one of the best racing circuits in the world. One of the most historic, one of the fastest, Temple of Speed, that's what they call it. Genuinely, outright, one of the best places to have a motor race in the world. And it looks like one of our first cars out on track is going to be that. I believe that's Fire Up Flow making his way out of the garage here very shortly. Gonna have to wait and see, potentially, have I been pinged. It will be, I think that's going to be the Sauber, actually, of Travis Scott on track. And I tell you what, intermediate tires on for the majority of the grid. It does look like the rain is maybe starting to potentially puddle in some of the places on the circuit. Of course, none of the cars have been round quite yet to disperse the standing water that there is. 300 kilometers an hour will disperse around 40 liters of water per second on these intermediate tires. At least that's in real life. Oh, that looks just trippy. That doesn't look good at all. The rain bouncing on about like that. Yeah, doesn't look good enough for the wets right now. We might see somebody get brave and put the wets on. I don't think it's going to be right now, if at all. What I will say is this: we had a moment like this a couple of seasons ago back at Imola, where the track started in a rain session quite like this, and the rain did get heavier. So I think we are going to see quite a bit of time lapse here. I'm going to ask somebody in Division 1 chat if they are potentially any rain to look out for in the race session, as we do see Travis Scott making his way in towards Parabolica now. Interesting to see what's going to happen here. Will he go for it, or will he kind of play this one by ear, play it safely? We'll have to wait and see. I'm going to make sure I'm in party chat really quick. I don't really want to be in game chat, haven't done this, and yeah, we're good to go. Okay, phenomenal. Down the pit straight and across the line is going to be Travis Scott making his way into the Retifilo chicane here. Down the pit straight. I assume in the dry you're going to be braking about where that LED screen is back there. That's about where the braking zone is going to be in through the chicane. He's done that quite nicely despite the adverse conditions. Back on the throttle, heading towards Curva Grande next. Take this one as close as you can to the inside. Sometimes if you're lucky and you get a good run out of the chicane back there, you can actually make a run around the outside. Doesn't quite happen. In towards the Raggia chicane now. About that 100-meter braking board is where you want to brake in the dry, and I think Travis Scott has gone definitely deep there. Let's go along with potentially Fire Up Flow as he makes his way through. And a bit of a lockup on the brakes there. In through Raggia now. Back on the throttle. Try to avoid the gravel on the way out there. You'll definitely be sent spinning if you do go through that. Through the Lesmos now. Lesmo number 1. Try to run a little bit wide on the way out. You can definitely carry more speed in through 1 than 2. On the way out of 2, got to be careful of track limits like Fire Up Flow has just forgotten to do there. And so that's going to be the end of his timed attempt. I believe we do have... well, that's the Ferrari of Gunnar, who is not on the timed attempt. We do have behind them, I believe, the Haas of Drismic is the next car in line on a flyer. Heading into the Ascari corner now. Brakes about 100 meters on the way in. A little bit shallow through that first curb. Of course, none of these laps are really going to be representative here in this wet for the time being. Of course, knowing that we don't know what the race session is going to be like. Braking about the edge of that green patch there on the outside. Kate Thomas 134.28. Exiting Parabolica now. Drismic, the next car across the line to put a time on the board. Across the line for him, 139.87. Which is not too bad there. Again, it's going to be difficult to tell what these guys have actually been able to put together here. And another thing we talk about, assuming that we're going to have a dry race, I mean, this is a fact, a point of thinking that I bring up every time we do have one of these kind of wet one session, dry another session, is we do have Travis Scott telling me now that officially this is going to be a dry race session. So, sometimes we will see cars, and potentially this may come into play here at Monza as well. It's a bit difficult. I would actually expect this to take place less here than any of the other circuits, as Lancey goes about 0.2 of a second off the top spot of Kate Thomas. But sometimes what we'll see is we'll see guys put on potentially... Oh, as Ayahuasca's left the session, that's unfortunate. We'll see guys put on what is usually more of a more conservative setup for this wet qualifying session. You know, maybe a little bit softer suspension, maybe a couple of additions to the wings, maybe added on. Try to prioritize the quali position as much as you possibly can. Get a good start for you in the race and try to tough it out realistically in the race session, which doesn't always work. But conversely, the other side of that is put your race setup on in the wet session. Take the risk and, you know, not be guaranteed to have a good opportunity in qualifying to actually put a good time on the board and then have to work your way up through. But, however, conversely, knowing that you have your race set up on, which is going to be quicker, it's a difficult balance to try and find. And as we see now, Fire Up Flow's gone 129.194. He is currently the fastest time by about 3.5 tenths of a second as Gunnar. And there's Shankadelic, actually, 129.090. He's got Fire Up Flow by a tenth. Good time for him. We have Race Chase coming around the line now. I don't believe this is a timer for Race Chase here. Doesn't appear to be. We've got the Mercedes of Race Day making his way through the two Lesmos. He's actually about 4 tenths quicker through Sector 1. And Ayahuasca saying that he's got kicked. His internet has went off because of the power. He's asking to invite him. Hopefully I have him friended. I'm not entirely sure that I do when he gets back online. I do actually have him friended. So we'll get Ayahuasca back in the session here when we can. Race day, 1.5 seconds quicker through Sector 2. And as you can tell, Shariah Coleslaw 128.780. This track is ramping up now. The rain is definitely getting lighter. Water is being evacuated off the racing surface. Oh, big slide for race day. And I tell you what, he was definitely on pace there for a pole time. Provisional pole, and unfortunately that car got well out of shape there going through Parabolica, and he'll have to settle for P8 for the time being. I'm not even sure that ended up being an improvement, unfortunately, for race day. Got the Ferrari of Cali Robb on his first time attempt, making his way through the pit straight chicane here. How he is on throttle on the way out. And as you can tell, again, visibly the rain is getting lighter. Race is dry, 13% chance of rain, says Brian Mosser. Thank you very much for that. Travis Scott said no rain. 13% is definitely not, I don't think, enough to say rain, but you never know. Race Chase has just gone across the line. He's gone now within 3/4 of a tenth of Shariah Coleslaw's 128.780. It's a phenomenal time there for Coleslaw. Cali Robb maybe slightly conservative. Through the two Lesmos there. Try to invite Ayahuasca here while we can. So we'll have a couple of invites sent there, and if he doesn't get one, then we'll see how that happens. Cali Robb now making his way. Travis Scott's gone 128.199. Which is a new fastest lap here. Exiting Parabolica, across the line for Cali Robb, and he will go second, 128.669. And I'll tell you what, unfortunately we were slightly away for some of that lap. We didn't quite see where he had lost that time. I think through the Sector 2, he lost some of it going through the Lesmos there. Potentially looks slightly, maybe just careful is honestly the term I would use. 128.072. And the rain has stopped now. As you can see visibly, there is no more rain falling. These times are good, but they are only going to get quicker here momentarily. Still about 9 minutes to go here in the session. Shankadelic now, 128.19. Gets fire up flow by half a tenth. And you can see the water is still kind of being evacuated off the tires there of the Red Bull, but not very much, and not for very much longer. I have to admit that we're going to be seeing some cars here take those soft tires very shortly. Thing is now, though, is that as you're going to be on these soft tires, you're going to have one attempt, maybe two good attempts here at a time lapse. So if you're a guy like Race Day, currently sitting P13, you are absolutely going to need to nail these two laps here, because you're not going to have time to do anything else realistically. Looks like he is improving for the time being. I wonder if he's going to complete this lap, and then the next time in, he'll make his way into the pit lane and fit the softs. For the time being, he has gone purple sector 2 at least. Will he go purple sector 3 as well and complete the fastest lap? 8 minutes remaining in the session. This is where Race Day had lost the car last time. Just a bit of a correction sent the car squabbling about through that section of corner. And the top spot for Race Day, 127.219. He's got Shankadelic by 8/10 there. Huge time for him, as we're going to see fire up flow now into the pit lane. Brian Mosser has just, Brian Mosser has done an outlap and then has immediately come back into the pit lane, and I think now we are going to start to see the masses put these soft tires on. Take one more second here to try to, Ayahuasca has made it back into the session. Very good, very good. I wasn't sure if he had. I didn't initially see that he did. So Race Day, your provisional pole sitter, 7 minutes 15 remaining. We do have, of course, the masses now fitting those soft tires. And now in real life, what's interesting is that these intermediate tires, as you can see, that we have on now, at least for Cali Robb, in real life, what'll happen is that these intermediate tires, when that tread wears off, the tire underneath it actually is a bit of a, it's almost a super soft, realistically. It is even softer than the soft tire. So what you'll see a lot of times is you'll see a guy, at least this happened quite a lot. I remember in particular there was a race where this came into play quite a lot. I believe it was it Turkey? 2021? 2020? Something like that happened? No, it wasn't then. I think it must have been 2021. Anyway, yeah, we saw the masses of the cars continue on these intermediate tires as long as they possibly could. Because once that tread wears off, it's actually a bit of a super soft compound, and the car gets so much quicker. Now, that isn't really possible in this game, unfortunately, because I think that's kind of a noticeable bit of physics that is really taken advantage of in real life and not so much in here. So unfortunately, it's slightly more bland in the game, but that's what you have to deal with sometimes, unfortunately. A couple of minutes remaining in the qualifying session now. As race day 2016, on top, 127.219. Shankadelic second, behind by 8/10. Fire Up Flow third. Travis Scott fourth, and Shankadelic and Fire Up Flow now, having fit the intermediate tires. We have yet to see a timed lap on the soft compound. We will be seeing that here very shortly, I'm sure. Looks like Fire Up Flow is going to be, well, maybe not. Who is it going to be? Is it going to be the Alpine? Nicky 64, I believe, is going to be putting down our first timer, as Kate Thomas has unfortunately invalidated his previous lap. Nicky is making his way through Curva Grande now. I don't actually believe by the initial looks of it that this is going to be his timed lap, so potentially will we instead see maybe Race Chase? Lancia looks like he is just invalidated going through. I don't know if that was going through Raggia, but as we pick him up at Raggia, he is already invalidated. Race Chase coming across the line now, and he will now begin his timed attempt. I believe we have the McLaren, both Fire Up Flow and Brian Moss are on outlaps for the time being, into the Redifilo chicane now for Race Chase. 4 minutes 40 remaining. Bit of a wiggle getting on the throttle there, exiting the chicane. That may hurt his time, definitely. Yellow flag on the way through the chicane. I believe just maybe a back marker getting out of the way. Through Curva Grande, heading in now towards Raggia, braking at the 100-meter board. On the way in, I think he could probably take that a little faster than he's done there, but it's still clean. A lot of the time, clean is going to be better than quick. You know what I mean? If you're in the position where you just need to get some good laps on the board and make sure that you don't make any mistakes, clean is going to be better. If you're a guy that's kind of on the outside looking in where you really need to push the pace, then you can definitely try to take some more risks. But yeah, for the time being, I think this is going to be a fairly good lap then for Race Chase. I don't think it's going to be pole. Top 5, I think, will be probably valid. Not sure anything more, maybe probably not anything less than that either. This will be our first official time on the soft tires. Let's see what Race Chase does. Oh, and he slid coming out of parabolic and off to the inside wall. Ay, Race Chase. That is so unfortunate. He will improve, but goodness me, that was about as unfortunate as it gets. Terrible luck there. Just got on the throttle a little too gingerly. A little too generously going out of Parabolica then, and you can even still see here Fire Flow fighting that car. Oh, even he's going to slide. Wow, I tell you what, these guys are struggling through Parabolica corner. I'm not even really sure why, but both Fire Flow and Shankadelic having woes going through that section of the track. I tell you what, we didn't expect to see that whatsoever. That then means it'll be Nicky 64 with the first representative time. About 4 cars down the order now, you can see. Yeah, and I see he's done that rather cleanly. I think maybe he could have gotten on the accelerator a little bit earlier. 126.490 is good. I'm not sure that's going to hold water. 2 minutes 35 remaining now. Next around the line is going to be Element, I believe that is. To the line for him, and got some sort of bot in the chat. Oh my god, not even letting me ban the guy. Okay, well. Nicky 64 currently has the top spot, 126.490. We have one of the Racing Bulls round in the final corner. It's going to be Shariah Kolsov, but again, even he is struggling to pick up traction. Going through Parabolica, that's appearing to be such a difficult corner to actually make a proper go-through. I believe, is this Race Day coming around the line? Yes, it is. Race Day across the line. He has not improved. This will be the time lap here for Race Day. We'll go along with him with 95 seconds remaining. Houdini appears to have retired from the session. That is in the pit lane. We've just had, I believe, that was... Who was that just crossed the line there? I believe the Williams of Gottney Weave. I don't think that was his flyer. Both Ferraris on an outlap now. Beginning his timer is Gunner. Currently sat P11. Got the Aston of Element down the back straight heading into Parabolica now. Just about a minute remaining here. As Travis Scott has retired, I believe that in the pit lane as well. Oh, and I tell you what, that McLaren ahead of race day may have messed him up there. I think, thankfully, whichever McLaren that was not Fireflow. That was actually Brian Mosser. Had gone slightly wide there, exiting the first Lesmo. And, you know, when you're a driver like Race Day who's really on a do-or-die flyer here, you cannot have something like that happen ahead of you and potentially make you, you know, just instinctively check up to the car ahead. And now, as you can see here, he's going to be right behind Brian. I tell you what, this is going to be difficult here. Race Day is still on this flying lap, and Brian is not ceding position. Oh, big slide for Brian! Oh, goodness me, Race Day may just have to abandon this lap. He's going to be coming across the line. It's still going to be rightly quick, and at 125.655. But I tell you what, he was probably capable of a little bit faster there. Brian had slid the car around going out of Parabolica and gone right into the path of Race Day. And we were just talking about that. If a car has something happen to them in front of you on a flyer, and then you have to be the one to react to that, that's going to hurt you. And I think that's exactly what's happened to Race Day. He's pretty much been ensured that he doesn't have pole position here because of it. Race Chase 125.5 has the top spot for the time being. Next round the line, I believe, is going to be the Alpine of Nicky 64. He appears 1 second quicker through Sector 2. This could be a good one for him. Oh, and a big slide on the back end, and still they struggle to get the power down at Parabolica, and that is going to spell the end of the session for Nicky 64. We got Shankadelic behind him, who I believe is also improving. Following him will be the Mercedes of GSR Edwin, who needs a lot here. Across the line for Shankadelic, 124.814. Provisional pole for him. Edwin has invalidated. The Haas of, who's a Drismic up next. Drismic coming down and across the line, and he has made his way up to 6th, a little bit farther behind, but potentially still. Kelly Robb out of Parabolica now. He needs quite a lot to get back into the picture. And across the line, Cali Robb, 124.628. It's a new fastest lap. Provisional pole. Shariah making his way. He's got the toe from his teammate. Lancey has gone 6th. Shariah has gone 3rd. And next up, that is Race Day. 124.171. Are you serious? We thought he didn't have enough left in the tank for another timed lap. He's actually blown his previous time out of the water. And not only has he done that, he's actually gotten provisional pole now in what looks like will be pole by 4.5 tenths of a second. Race Day 2016 continues to surprise us on just the sheer level of talent as he picks up pole. Cali Robb 2nd, Shankadelic 3rd. It's a good lap from Shankadelic there. Initially looked like that was going to be the time to beat. Fireflow 4th, Shariah 5th, Kate Thomas 6th, good for him. Race Chase 7th, Lancey 8th, Weeb 9th, Nicky 10th. Drismic, Element, Travis Scott, Gunnar, Edwin, Mosser, Ayahuasca, and Houdini round out the grid. And Ayahuasca and Houdini, neither of which actually got a time on the board. But that is going to be your starting grid for this Italian Grand Prix. What a lap there from Race Day at the death. And just when we thought that he was going to be pretty much guaranteed out of this session, after having the McLaren of Mosser spin in front of him, going through Parabolica, he has definitely proved me wrong and has definitely earned pole here. What a fantastic qualifying session that was, and again, what a lap there by Race Day to be able to make that happen. Dry race coming up, and we'll take you now to the Italian National Anthem. Fantastic. You just love to see the Italian national anthem. Fantastic. It's honestly, I don't consider many things bops. That's a total bop, actually. Anyway, let's take you through the driver and constructor standings. This being after round 8 in Canada 2 weeks ago. Haven't quite had the time to get the updated schedule, that being those in power. Race day, your championship leader, 353 points. This is, of course, after last week, 2 weeks ago. Race day 2016, 353. Fire Up Flow in second, 348. It's 343 for Cali Rob. Big close there between the top three. Ayahuasca in fourth. Couple of lousy finishes recently for Ayahuasca after having finished first, second, and third at Austria, Great Britain, and Belgium. He's actually tied on points with Race Chase in fifth. Of course, having more wins than Race Chase, he'll get the spot. Shankadelic sixth, Cake Thomas seventh, Weeb eighth, Shariah ninth, 10th is Cam Tizzle. That's the top 10 in drivers. As far as constructors are concerned, this as well being following the Canadian Grand Prix round. The Red Bulls at the top spot, 688 points. Second place belongs to the Alpines, 594. The Racing Bulls in third, the Stakes in fourth. Ferrari's in fifth for the time being. Mercedes sixth, McLaren seventh, Williams eighth, the Haas in ninth, and then the Aston Martins rounding out the top 10 in the constructor standings. Here we go, formation lap underway now. Race day 2016, your pole sitter, he'll have the outside heading into the Redifilo chicane as you see now. Tire strategy on the way. All but two have chosen to remain medium for this evening. Brian Mosser and GSR Edwin, the only two that have made the decision to go hard this evening. Going to be interesting to see. Again, with the qualifying session that we have, we still don't really have an idea, as there's the race strategies. I tell you what, the game is slightly adamant on a two-stopper here for whatever reason. Is that going to be possible? Only 27 laps on the board tonight? I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be the move. I think maybe the one-stopper, if possible. If not, then, well, you know, whatever it may be, as Ayahuasca appears now to have rejoined the session. Oh, yeah, good old-fashioned Michelob to start things off. It's gotten slightly warm since the beginning of the stream. But as well considering, top three in the driver standings of Race Day, Cali Rob, and Fire Up Flow make up 3 out of the 4 cars in the first row of the grid. Then you got guys that's potentially on the outside looking in here like Shariah and Cake, who could really potentially do some damage here if given the opportunity. But then you got a guy like Ayahuasca way off at the back. A guy that we really, realistically, week in and week out expect to be up towards the top end of the grid. And historically, that has been what he's been able to do. So we'll have to wait and see what happens here. Race day 2016, forming up on the grid now, just waiting for Houdini to round the final corner, and we will be ready to go. Race day on the outside looking in to that first corner. Cali Rob second. Shankadelic following in behind in third. He may actually have a good run here if given the opportunity. Fire Up Flow in fourth. Shariah in fifth. Cake Thomas sixth. What could they potentially do from row 3? I think realistically anything further back than the first 2 rows might be slightly in the danger zone here, has to be said. We're going to have to wait and see. Lights coming on now here in Monza for the 10th time this season. Here they go. Lights, 5 of them. And then finally, we are underway here in Monza. It's an even start there, but I think race day has gotten away better after all is said and done. Yeah, Kelly Robb has definitely lost positions. That's the Red Bull Race Chase on the outside, making their way in towards turn 1. Sorry, that's Shankadelic, actually, as Fire Up Flow has lost positions. Kelly Robb has lost positions as they make their way on through. It looks like for the time being, everything's kind of done relatively cleanly there. Especially if you are race day. You have taken that lead and you have kept it through these first couple of corners in towards the Raggia chicane now following Curva Grande. Cake Thomas. Oh, look at this. Shariah on the inside in through Raggia. That's a bold move. And look at this. Brilliant racing between the two of them, giving each other all the space they need and still side by side heading into the first Lesmo. This is incredible. Cake Thomas Weeb on the outside. Oh, God, I don't even know what's going on anymore. Wow, what a just great battle that is. And now Race Chase looking for the right side as we got a hell of a good battle happening here in the midfield heading in towards Ascari. As we do have Brian Mosser and Houdini, a bit of battling going on behind. Houdini seems to have dropped the position. He may look to outbrake here into Ascari. Hasn't been given the opportunity. Filing down the straight now, heading in towards Parabolica. Race Day leads Shankadelic by half a second. Of course, DRS will be activated after this lap. Or, well, it will be allowed this time by, although not until they exit the second Lesmo. But still, the pure slipstream to be in play here as potentially Shankadelic. He's just not quite going to be close enough, is he? His teammate at Race Chase may be able to have a move on Weeb going into the corner. As well behind, I believe that's Travis Scott making something happen on Gunner. Yes, it is. That is the only overtake made this time into this first corner. As well as Mosser and Houdini. Ayahuasca +3 on the start. He's the biggest mover, of course, not having been allowed to actually join the car until the end of the formation lap there. Shankadelic has taken second. Calirob down to third. Fire Up Flow stayed stagnant in fourth. Shariah and Cake have also stayed the same in fifth and sixth. We have a yellow flag. Drismick's gone round. Yes, he has. That car has missed either the braking zone or has had help from behind into Rajia, and he will now drop to the back end of the grid. Gottney Weeb +2 up to 7th. Chase and Lancey both down 1. Element is up 2 as well. Ayahuasca now +4 after that spin there from Drismick. As out of Ascari they go, heading down the straight in towards Parabolica now. Not really much in the way of carnage on that opening lap, had to be said. It was very tame, especially for the typical standards of a Monza Grand Prix. As Race Day's actually going to go a bit wide there. I think he may have just been given a track limits warning for that, as he was noticeably wide. Race Day fastest lap now, 1:22.226. DRS will be activated for Shankadelic. We've got Ayahuasca down to the inside of Edwin, exiting Parabolica, and now with DRS in play, this one could get interesting. Ayahuasca may have a look to the inside of Nicky 64. Oh, he's not quite going to be close enough, and Edwin really wanted to find something around Ayahuasca as well. Just didn't quite have the real estate to make it happen, as Nicky 64 had defended well against the Sauber in question, exiting the chicane in through Curva Grande. And now for what it's worth, actually, we got only about 3.5 tenths between Shank and Race Day. And as I say that, Shank looks like he's gone wide exiting Raji. You can see the grass just on the left side tires there. So he has lost about 0.3 of a second in the time that I was in the sentence saying that he had made 0.3. That does happen from time to time, I'll admit. Half a second for Flo. As Element's going to be our first driver with a 3-second penalty. I apologize, Race Chase to the inside of Gottney Weeb. That with DRS as well, so that'll be a move made here in towards Ascari. Element having gone wide, I believe that was potentially through... Well, it has to be through one of the Lesmos. I don't know which one. I would assume Lesmo 1. Or no, maybe 2, because again, it's easier to go wide through 2. If you go wide through 1, you're more likely to even just really spin through the grasses, as now we actually see Ayahuasca down to the inside of Nicky in through Parabolica, and he's made that one happen. That's some great acceleration there for the Sauber, and I'll have DRS as well to Element ahead is now Fire Up Flow and Cali Rob. The McLaren has gotten down to the inside of the Ferrari even before the braking zone, and as they make their way in, yes, Fire Up Flow has got that position. He's got it made. We do look back again. Nicky 64, oh, he's made contact there with Ayahuasca, and even still, they're really close together. That was slightly a weird one. As Ayahuasca was on the inside of the corner, that car was temporarily ghosted. Potentially, did he have a big enough lockup to trigger the game and realistically ghost him? Or potentially, did Nicky get into him? I didn't quite see the beginning of what happened there. But either way, Ayahuasca has re-lost that position. Honestly, from just looking at it on my second monitor, it looked as if the back end of the car had really just kind of gotten around under braking, and Ayahuasca had to back it down, and Nicky had managed to get around the outside. So I don't think Nicky... actually ended up making contact there. Apologize for accidentally accusing him. We just didn't know what happened. Heading into Ascari once more. Travis Scott's got 0.2 of a second back to Edwin. He won't make this move happen now. I worry for Ayahuasca, though, with that big of a slide, how much that's actually hurt his tire wear, especially considering just the outright need for mechanical grip as well. On the circuit, especially with how little downforce are on these cars for this circuit. It's definitely something worth worrying about. And what we'll need to be worried about is Race Day, as he's going to have to defend from Shankadelic, and he's going to have no chance there, unfortunately, for Race Day, as Shankadelic, with the aid of DRS, gets way around him and able to make that happen. Good Good three-car battle here going into the chicane now. Fire Up Flow had to defend from Cali Rob as Shariah as well. Really wanted to poke his nose into that one. Didn't quite have the opportunity. Looking back now, Ayahuasca has gotten round Nikki 64 once more. Element in that picture as well trying to battle. At a bit of a swapping of position here between Brian Mosser and Drismic. Tell you what, Drismic... Oh, and even still, both of these cars struggling to get away. And I tell you what, both these guys have had such chaotic days with these cars already. Drismic had that incident going in through Raggio, which we didn't quite see happen. And even just then, from that initial offering, which we did just see, that car looks a proper handful then for the Haas. Half a second, Shankadelic leads only just over Race Day. We'll open the telemetry just to give you a look at what the top speeds are looking like. Cali Rob, oh, I tell you what, I thought he was going to be going for something there into Ascari. That would have been quite ballsy for this stage of the Grand Prix. 10th and a half, Cali Rob sticks to the right side, Fire Flow on the outside. Who will be the later of the breakers into Parabolica? And it looks like it's not going to matter. Cali Rob is pulled back in line, but now exiting Parabolica once more. Shankadelic crossing the line at 303. 310 for Race Day, and now DRS activated. You can see he's still about a good 12 kilometer an hour quicker. But even still, he's really not made up enough ground to challenge, and he's actually going to have a bit of a lockup into the braking zone there. As Cali Rob now, could he swap his way around Fire Flow and make something happen? I don't quite think he's going to be close enough to do it. I think Race Chase may have had a bit of a slide there through the chicane. He was about 0.3 of a second ahead of Gottney Weeb entering the chicane, and he's now lost 2 positions, one to the Williams and then one to the Racing Bull of Lancy as well. Something not correctly has gone on with Race Chase there, as we are on lap 6 of 27, and what has so far been, I don't want to say a tame Grand Prix, but that's slightly what it seems like, isn't it? We've not really had a lot of conundrums, realistically. It's been very good racing, as Shariah's going to go 2 wheels into the gravel there, and he's going to lose a hell of a lot of time, and I think that may eventually open the door for Cake. Shariah does have DRS still to the car ahead. I'm just wondering if he's going to be able to hold on to that. Matter of fact, he's actually gained back about 2/10 there. Through Ascari, down the straight now towards Parabolica. Cake Thomas, he's not quite going to be close enough. What we do see ahead, though... Oh, sorry, I apologize. Element's gone off. Yes, he has. This is in the second phase of Ascari. On the way out, actually, he has clobbered the Tech Pro barrier there on the outside. That is actually well shifted out of position. And I'm assuming he is missing quite a bit of the front wing. And unfortunately for Element anyway, as he is, he's missing a heck of a lot of the front wing there. Unfortunately for him, that's... piece of front wing was well off the circuit, so no virtual or full safety car for him. Tough break for Element, as he'll have to get that car into the pit lane and get that fixed. And what was looking like initially a very good day there for the Aston, his job is going to be made 10 times tougher now. A bit of a lockup there for Cali Rob on the way into Raggio. Fire Flow was getting kind of close there, didn't really have a look. You know, I really think unless desperation is setting in, you're not going to make a move into Raggio. Really not. I mean, sometimes you'll see it. We saw that on the first lap between Shariah and Cake there, which was just such phenomenal battling. As we actually see now, Ayahuasca's gotten around Lancy, exiting Lesmo 2. And, yep, he's up to that 8th spot. He now has a little bit of a way to climb to get up to Gottney Weeb. He's about 0.3 of a second shy of having DRS down the pit straight. That's not going to help him. Travis Scott with a 3-second penalty. Shankadelic, I don't believe, actually took the best way in through Parabolica that time. Race Day is going to have a fair look here. DRS activated down the pit straight, 0.2 of a second in closing. Race Day, what does he choose? He'll have to be forced a long way around, but I think he's going to be able to have this even well before they get into braking. And, well, it was a little closer than I think Race Day would have liked there, but he has made that spot. Shankadelic is not going to be able to make that happen. As once again here, we got a great battle between Cali Rob and Fire Up Flow going in through the chicane and then back on the way out. They've done phenomenally, and here they are again. Cali Rob has not gotten good acceleration. Round the outside for the McLaren in question, and he will have this one made, I think, even before they get to Raggio. Yes, they do. Good move there for Fire Up Flow. Into the corner. Oh, as Cali Rob, I believe... Oh, that was weird there. Cali Rob either had a hell of a lockup. Yeah, surely that's what's happened there. I don't think he's had help from behind on anybody. I think Cali Rob has really just gone heavy on the brakes, and the car went in through the side. And Fire Flow actually in that procession has picked up a 3-second penalty even then being the car ahead. I think Kelly Robb may have just genuinely made a mistake there, not going to lie, as Shariah and Cake have both been able to get around him in that bit of shenanigans there, potentially. Gottney Weeb is actually going to have a fair look at Kelly Robb here, I believe. Maybe in towards Parabolica. Ayahuasca, look at the pace he's pulling on the outside. Out of nowhere, like an RKO. And suddenly now, wheel-to-wheel with Weeb, who Weeb, it looks like, has done a bit of late braking there, trying to hold his position for the time being, and it hasn't worked. As Ayahuasca, I mean, it's like a hot knife through butter for the time being, as he's made his way up to 5th, and he's got Cake Thomas in his sights now. We do have 2 cars entering the pit lane, Shariah and Houdini. Oh, I tell you what, for a second there, it looked like that car was out of shape. He held it well. Shankadelic has gotten at least back within DRS range. That'll be helpful the next time round. Hard tires going on for Houdini. As far as Shariah is concerned, I believe hards as well. Now, again, if you remember correctly, in the beginning strategy screen there, the game did want a 2-stopper, which didn't quite make sense. It seemed as if, realistically... I mean, I don't know, though. Is this a strategical stop? Or is that just purely because of tire wear for Shariah and Houdini? I don't know. Is it really going to be a 2-stopper here? A medium, hard, medium, potentially? Or medium, hard, soft, even more? As Ayahuasca will get round Cake Thomas even before Ascari. Up to 4th now. After having started at the back end of the grid without a time on the board. He's made his way up to 4th. Phenomenal stuff. 3 cars with 3-second penalties. Fire Up Flow currently sat in the final podium position. Travis Scott, and then finally Element. Those 3 for the time being. As Shankadelic, Brian Mosser's going to get one now. Half a second behind Race Day, heading into the chicane. He's closing. He's not going to get there, is he? As we do have a host of cars entering the pit lane now. Cake Thomas, Kelly Robb, and Lancey, for that matter. What will the strategy be here? Hards for Cake. Looks like it will be hards for Lancey as well. And Kelly Robb, who I believe has already made his stop just now. Those will be another set of mediums for Kelly Robb. Interesting. So Kelly Robb putting on the second set of mediums pretty much tells me that this is definitely going to be a 2-stopper now. He's going the medium. Would it be medium soft, potentially, if possible? Another 10 laps on these medium tires. Could you bring the soft 7? I'm not sure you could. Difficult to say. Exiting Ascari. Race Day's got 7/10 of a second on Shankadelic, but Shank's got a good little pace going now. On the way into Parabolica, Race Day. Again, it's going to depend on who gets the better acceleration here, and I think it was the Mercedes ahead, but Race Day into the pit lane, yes. Race Day now entering the pit lane. Let's see what he does strategically. He'll be dropping back, I think, at least to about Gunner. Back there in 9th position, and it will be a set of hards for the Mercedes. Well, I was going to say he was going to be dropping positions. That's actually not the case now. There's several cars on their way into the pit lane. Gunner's actually going to stay out. Ayahuasca onto the hards. Hard tires now for Weeb. Hard tires for Nicky. Shariah stays out. Mosser actually now around the outside of the Racing Bull in question. He's up to 7th, and he'll get his teammate as well. Brian Mosser now. Although I believe has started the race on the current set of hard tires that he's on. 3 cars have yet to stop. That being Shankadelic, Chase, and Gunner. As now, look at this. Shariah back around the outside of Curva Grande. Well, he's made that one happen. As Race Day now's got a 3-second penalty, and that one's exiting Rajier, going through it, I believe. That is going to be trouble. And even now, you can see he's struggling to get those tires up to temperature. Having gone 2 wheels into the inside grass of the first Lesmo. As something's happened with Brian Mosser. He's lost several positions. He was up battling with Shariah not too long ago. He has lost, again, several positions, back down to 12th now. Again, remember, only 2 cars started this race on the hard tires. That was Edwin, and it is Brian Mosser as well. Everybody else that you see on the fresh mediums, Kelly Robb, Travis Scott, potentially will we see Shankadelic do it? Nope, not Shank. Race Day stayed out. Gunner will be making his way in this time. So those that you see on the fresh medium tires will have to stop in additional time here. You are required to use at least one different compound than which you've started on. Which most of these guys are getting out of the way. They're going to see probably how long they can take the hards. Again, with how much the game said that this was supposed to be a two-stop race, I am assuming that we're looking at a situation. These guys may even fit the softs for the last, 7 to 10 laps of the race here. I'm not really sure. The mediums lasted, what was it, as Ayahuasca's going to get around Shariah there just on pace, realistically, through Curva Grande. The mediums only lasted a comfortable 10, is what we saw. Of course, you got some of these guys now. Race Chase took it 11. Who just stopped in? I think Shankadelic took it 11 laps as well. Call it an even 10 laps. Will the hards be able to last the 17? Not too sure. It's a good question. Got to keep that one in mind. Only 3 cars have yet to stop. Race Chase in the Red Bull, who started the race on the medium tires. He'll be on his way in very shortly. I smell something burning, and I'm not rightly sure what that is. And it's not ideal. Edwin's got a 10er, however, for speeding into the pit lane. Not ideal for him, as I, again, just continue to look around here. It does continue to smell like something is burning in my house, but I don't really know. Well, until that becomes a problem, we're going to focus on this. Race Day 2016 re-inherits the lead of this Grand Prix, albeit this now with a 3-second penalty to his name for multiple warnings. That was a couple of laps ago, going through that section of the circuit through Raji, and again, you can see getting on throttle. That car kind of wanted to take a trip round. Half a second. 7/10 now for Shariah. Back to Ayahuasca, and Ayahuasca's done phenomenally here, hasn't he? Having started on that back row of the grid, now up to 3rd in the podium positions, and on the same strategy as everybody else around him as well. Phenomenal stuff for him. Drismick's got a 3-second penalty now for multiple warnings. Back there in P15. Of course, Edwin's got the 10er for having sped into the pit lane. That is super unfortunate for him. Race Day, for the time being, is shy of keeping the win by about a second here, with the penalty delta in play, as Shankadelic is yet to pick up his penalty, and is, for the time being, staying around about 2 seconds. I'll have to wait and see. Maybe will Shariah have a look at Ayahuasca. I tell you what, Ayahuasca, even now in the straight line, is still continuing to put some pace back to Shariah Coleslaw. Shariah still has DRS for the time being. I don't suppose that's going to be lasting much longer. Hank Thomas 3.5 tenths back to Cali Rob, this being for the 6th position. Good little queue of cars here. Going through the chicane. That one is being led by Shariah realistically. Ayahuasca is a little bit further up the road. And again, that's save for that one error that he made on the way into the chicane, battling Cali Rob. Ayahuasca has once again looked rather flawless here, has to be said. As now he'll set Shariah behind by that second, which will kick him out of DRS range. Of course, as I say that, he's relatively gotten it back there. Then again, immediately. As Nicky 64 and Travis Scott, good little battle here. Travis, I believe, having potentially just pit there. No, he's been on the tires for 6 laps now. I tell you what, he might just be genuinely struggling as Race Chase now down to the inside, and Travis Scott will lose the position to both Nicky and now Chase. That is before they get to Ascari. Potentially will he be able to have a look down the pit straight as Edwin's now up to 13 seconds in penalty, as Element will now pick up his second infringement, and he's up to 6. Very hard to make positions gained with a 6-second penalty. At least what I'll say with Race Day, in this situation that he's in currently. As a driver, you pick up your first warning, you don't think very much about it, okay? You pick up your second warning, and then you begin to panic, because when you pick up your second warning, then it's in your mind, right? Then you start thinking about it, as Race Chase is going to get around Nicky 64 into the chicane here. Right, then you start thinking about having that penalty, and then you drive extra carefully to make sure that you don't pick up the third one. And naturally, when you do think about it like that, then you pick up the third one anyway, because you're busy worrying about not picking up the third one, if that makes any sense. At that point, you cuss at yourself, but then you move on. Race Day right now could be in a position where, he's got the 3-second penalty, but now he has 3 more warnings before his next penalty. So race day could realistically, he's got, the pressure is off for the time being. I mean, it's still half a second, under Delta, realistically, of being able to keep that top spot. But at least now the possibility, kind of lies on Shankadelic. Shankadelic's got to push to stay within this 3-second window. And where there's smoke, there's fire, realistically, because then he's going to have to push, and he could potentially pick up the penalty. So it's kind of an interesting mental game to have to play there. And race day's at the point now where he has got enough time back to Shank to not have to worry about the car in his rear view. Shank is far enough behind where he now has to think about ways to cut down the time. And, when you're a racing driver, any more thinking than the normal that you have to do really does become a detriment to you. As Race Chase now with the fastest lap on the way into the chicane. As we do have Houdini. Oh, Travis Scott's into the pit lane. That's a little bold there. Travis Scott, 8-lap old medium tires. He actually pit, relatively not long ago. And now here he comes into the pit lane. What's he going to do here? I believe it's going to be another set. Well, it's going to be the hards here. Okay. Again, we're believing that this is a 2-stop race, but we're not entirely sure. The medium tires went a comfortable 10, 11 laps. The hards will have to go, realistically, 16, 17 from when the majority of the grid stops. So it's going to be an interesting play here, especially if a safety car comes out here towards the back end of this race. That is going to actually throw an entire wrench into the plans. Forget the wrench. That's throwing the whole toolkit into the plans of the drivers involved. And it's 0.3 of a second between Lancey and Cali Robb. Cali Robb has had a difficult day here, to say the least. I don't believe he's going to be quite pleased with this result. -5 in the negative direction, and that's going to be -6 as Lancey is going to absolutely cook him around the outside. And for what it's worth as well, Cali Robb on those 6-lap old mediums, remember, he did start this race on medium tires as well. He will have to make an additional stop. And here it is. Into the pit lane for Cali Robb. He will be now losing at least, I think, a 3 or 4 more position. We have a good-looking battle towards the back end as Brian Mosser's going to get around Travis Scott on the way into Ascari. Bit of a bold one there under braking. You don't often see a move get made into that section of the track, and he's done that quite nicely. But now, as again, here comes Travis Scott to the back end. Maybe he could potentially have a look into the inside. I don't believe he's going to press it this time. Next closest battle on track, I believe, is going to be that of Kate Thomas back to Fire Up Flow. Of course, Fire Up Flow's got the 3-second penalty. At the line this time will be 10 laps to go in this Italian Grand Prix. As the grid now. Not many drivers within DRS range of each other. Element still has it on Cali Robb, although Cali Robb having just pit fresh tires for him. I don't suppose that's going to last very long, and up the road he goes. Kate Thomas is about 0.8 of a second behind Fire Up Flow, this being for the 5th position. Of course, as well, once penalties are applied, he may still get that spot anyway. For the time being, however, now this is something that I was talking about not too long ago with Race Day, having this 3-second penalty. We were talking about how eventually, he was kind of far enough away from Shankadelic to not really have to worry about him in the rear view, and Shankadelic, the pressure was going to be on him to start finding ways to shave off the time. Well, I tell you what, Shankadelic has taken about 0.5 of a second off of the delta here between the two of them, and now he will, should this result hold as it is, he will win this race by 0.7 of a second. Not really a lot, as Houdini into the pit lane now. It's going to be mediums for him. You do have Kate Thomas back to Fire Up Flow, heading in through the first Lesmo. Go along with Kate Thomas for a little bit here. 10 laps to go now in the Italian Grand Prix. Travis Scott exiting the pit lane. He'll be right alongside Brian Mosser for the time being. He'll get back in line as now Gottney Weeb's got a 3-second penalty. That being the Williams in 8th position, unfortunately for him. Kate Thomas still 0.6 of a second. I tell you what, once Kate gets round Fire Up Flow here, it is only just about 1.7. The back end of Shariah, and I mean, they're relatively equal on tire age as well. Cake's got to make this one quick, though. Defending the inside will be Fire Up Flow. Cake tries to remain within the slipstream, and he's Just not quite going to be able to have the gumption to be able to get around the McLaren this time. Did temporarily get that gap to within 0.3 of a second. Fire Up Flow, I would say, at least, I think arguably had better acceleration initially. Kate Thomas will be trying to close back in very shortly. Meanwhile, we do have Gottney Weeb is now within about 0.4 of Lancey, that being for the 7th position, at least before penalties applied. Is a bit of a lockup there on the way in as we get a yellow flag. That is the Mercedes of Edwin has had a bit of a spin there. Yeah, spin for the Mercedes of Edwin. As when we were along with Gottney Weeb there, looking at the back end of Lancey, it looked like Lancey had almost had a bit of a spin there going into Ragia with the lockup that he did have. And now to the inside, Gottney Weeb is going to make that one happen. And so up to the 7th position, of course, penalties still to be applied. And now Lancey's actually going to pick up 3 seconds as well. So that's a outright battle for position there, save for the penalties. As race day into the pit lane with, 8 laps to go? Beginning the 20th lap into the pit lane for race day, and it will be a set of medium tires for him. Bold call. First of the hard tire runners to have a stop here. Of course, Travis Scott had it as well, but he was about a couple of laps behind on the strategy. Race day will drop to the midfield here. He will exit the pit lane, having to cover Nicky 64. Nicky's got some great pace here. Oh, and race day, I think, is going to get a little bit more generous on the brakes, and he's been able to keep the spot for the time being. But now, that brings up an incredible question. If you are Shankadelic, if you are Ayahuasca, can these hard tires hold on? 7 laps to go at the line this time. Fire Up Flow behind Cake by 0.4 of a second. Lancey behind Weeb by 0.4 of a second. Actually, Race Chase in this battle as well. What was at one point a grid with only 2 cars within DRS range of each other is now, potentially getting back into a little bit of a train here, possibly. Hoping that's the case. I tell you what, Ayahuasca immediately shaving time off back to Shankadelic. It was about 5.4. Roughly. When race day entered the pit lane, it's now 4.7. Fire Up Flow to the back end of Cake Thomas. I tell you what, Fire Up Flow may have a look here. He's going to have a good line, I think. Good pace exiting Parabolica. DRS activated, and Cake is going to have to just move over to the side. As Flow's got him well early. But now Race Chase. Lancey ahead of him has DRS to the back end of the Williams. Lancey's not going to be able to contend with the Williams ahead of him for the time being. This may allow Race Chase back into the picture. Slight wiggle from the Dutchman ahead. And just looking at race day now, seeing hopefully some of the times that he's pulling, at least if he's closing down on Race Chase. It does appear that he is, and actually quite a lot as well. Race day is actually closed in about 4.5 of a second, and just continuing that sentence, and here he goes still now. Now down to 0.4, and look at this, race day. Really flying now. And he's got to use up the energy store as he does, as we have a yellow flag into the chicane, and I believe it's one of the Haas's. It's Houdini seems to have slightly gone round. Doesn't appear to have hit anything, and we stay green. Race day to the inside. That's going through Ascari. What a bold move to make. Ascari is not an overtake-friendly corner. A lot of the moves that we've seen happening down that straight has happened well before the corner, and race day has really gone for it then. At the line this time, well, beginning lap 23, will be 5 laps to go, so next time by. As race day now, outbreaking the Racing Bull of Lancey. Trismick's got his second track limits penalty of the day. Well, this is the difficult story now, because realistically, race day's got to get around Gottney Weeb. And he's got to find a way to get up to Cake Thomas. I tell you what, this one may be slightly out the window here for race day, unless, for the time being, there is genuinely no saying on whether or not Shankadelic, Ayahuasca, or even Shariah are going to be into the pit lane for a fresh set of tires. Have they been able to conserve, or will these tires make it to the end? Race day Gets round Gottney Weeb, that with DRS. Lancey watches on. He might be under pressure from Race Chase here shortly. As Lancey's now going to pick up 3 seconds. That'll be his 6th second of penalty. Oh, Lancey, no! Lancey's gone off in a scurry. Yes, he has. He's hit that wall a ton. Goodness me, all 4 tires dislodged from that car. And the safety car on track with 5 laps to go. That car hit that wall a ton. And now, pardon my French, shit just got real. Because now it goes down to Shankadelic, it goes down to Ayahuasca, and now as we see the cars entering the pit lane, what will be the move here? Soft tires going on, race day in the picture as well. This is going to be a dogfight to the end of the session. Shankadelic and Ayahuasca, will they be able to come in and maintain position and get those soft tires on? With 5 laps to go now. Tell you what, we were thinking. We were saying earlier that if a safety car was going to happen, it was going to throw the toolkit into the plans of everybody involved, and we were just trying to think there if potentially the tires were going to last for Shankadelic, for Ayahuasca, to get to the end of the race. We're not going to have to worry about that now. Soft tires going on here for the top 2. And again, we are looking at an absolute masterclass of a finish on the way. It's going to be close. We're going to get going here with only a couple of laps of racing to go. Ayahuasca in for the softs. Everybody on track on the soft tires. At the line this next time by will be 3 laps of racing to go. 2 of which will be with DRS. As the grid will queue up behind the safety car now. Shankadelic has the lead. Ayahuasca from second to last on the grid, having not put together a time in qualifying due to connection issues, has diced his way through this field, finds himself in position now to potentially win this Italian Grand Prix. What a story that would make for him if he is able to. Shankadelic, he's done a great job in his own right. +2 on the day. He's done everything he's needed to do. Shiraya's in that position as well. I'm in the top 3, all without penalty. Gunner's +4, halfway decent day for him. Houdini up 3. Kelly Robb, I think, has got to be the biggest loser in this scenario. -9. Now his strategy again, remember, was I think shaping up to be, what was it? Medium, medium hard, medium, medium soft, something like that. And whatever it was hasn't worked. The grid still not caught up to the safety car here. Oh, I don't know what's going to happen here. Are we going to get 2 laps left? Realistically, the safety car's not coming in now. Surely not. Unless it makes the extra late decision. And I don't really think that it will. No. 2 laps of racing then. Left on the board, 26 and 27. 1 lap of DRS. 1 lap, I think both laps realistically, of utter chaos on the way. And just waiting still for the grid to be caught up here. Just a reminder, coming up next week will be the Zandvoort circuit, August 28th, but it will be in the reverse direction for the first time here in Midwest. Should be, I think again, very exciting race on the way for that one. We'll have to wait and see. 2 laps of racing remaining here in Division 1 as the safety car came out with 5 to go. after Lancey totally binned it in through Ascari. And now the question is, who's going to have the guts? Who's going to have the testicular fortitude here to be able to make something happen in these final 2 laps? This first lap, no DRS. Second lap, DRS bombs away. Several drivers in contention here. Of course, as well, those with penalties on your screen, as you can see. And as well, now the safety car in this lap is Brian Mosser, a tenner for corner cutting. What? How do you get a 10-second penalty under safety car for corner cutting? I don't even know. Rancid. So Shankadelic now has the ultimate task of trying to keep Ayahuasca at bay. Once again, Ayahuasca started this race second to last after having, failed to put a time on the board. Missed braking point, trying to keep up. Ayahuasca again, after having failed to set a qualifying time with connection issues, started 17th. He has potential to win this race. 2 laps to go here at Monza. Shankadelic leads them out of the Parabolica corner. We're back to green flag racing, and now the question is, who decides to pull off the ultimate move here and to make something happen? Ayahuasca does not have the ability for the time being as they fan out behind him. That's the Williams of Weeb. He has totally missed that corner. Wait, actually, did he? Well, he's lost a couple of positions there after having slid through as now. Oh, Jesus Christ, everything is backed up here. This is backed up worse than a Taco Bell meal happening now. As goodness me, everybody everywhere, positions are changing. But we look again to the battle for the top 3. Shiraya on the outside looking in again. You'd have to say, as we do have, who's that? That's the Aston Martin of Element, has gone round there. Doesn't appear to have hit anything. The track stays green. I think Shiraya, what he's going to do is he's basically going to wait and see if these two get into each other, having to try to battle, as Race Chase has retired. That one exiting the first Lesmo. And I tell you what, it's a bit late now for a safety car, but you'd have to say that would certainly be one with any more time on the board, and it's just not going to be. Exiting Ascari for the penultimate time, Shankadelic has the advantage for 0.2 of a second, only for now. Ayahuasca trying the outside, outbraking around the outside, contact made! Shankadelic slides, Shiraya up to second, and now potentially, could that be a steward report coming the way of Ayahuasca? Oh, goodness me, as DRS is enabled. Shiraya looks like he'll take second. Of course, fire up with DRS activated. We'll get down to the inside. Or, well, it actually won't be activated because they wouldn't have had it now, as the detection point was before the start-finish line. But Ayahuasca... Oh, that was such a difficult call there, because realistically, Ayahuasca wanted it round the outside, and as it goes, I mean, the car is naturally going to want to push up the track to the outside, going through that corner. I don't think Ayahuasca made any deviation from his line to go across the front end of the Red Bull in question. Oh, such a tough call there. But what that could mean, we could even be looking at a Shiraya win if a steward reports goes in the opposite direction of Ayahuasca. This is, I tell you what, still worth playing for here. Race Day is going to be dropping quite a few positions, actually, with this penalty coming his way, which is such a shame for the reigning defending champion, having not necessarily been able to, I think, finish the story here realistically after having picked up that penalty. He will be losing quite a few spots. But Ayahuasca making his way through Parabolica, well, he will be the first to cross this line. This one, I think, is going to be decided after the session via the stewards across the line and taking the win here in Monza. Second will be, actually end up being Shiraya as across the line. Now Nicky! Oh, goodness me, Nicky! He was side by side with Weeb. And I think Weeb had the penalty, but goodness me, what a battle at the line that was. Shankadelic ends up taking third. Shiraya will be second. Fireflow fourth. Nicky fifth. Calirob sixth. Cake seventh. Race Day eighth. Gunner ninth. Weeb 10th is your finishing order here in Division 1. But again, does this one get sent to the stewards afterwards? Ayahuasca, your winner today. Will it stay that way? That's got to be the million-dollar question. Hotspot, it has been a pleasure joining you once again here in Division 1. We'll see you next time.